This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Now at noon on this Friday, we begin with breaking news. IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson is set to address the unexpected cancellation of school bus service today. As you can see, the stage is set for her to talk. This disrupted more than 300 routes, impacting 25,000 school children. IPS school drivers called off today, causing chaos for the state's largest public school system. Good afternoon and welcome to the news at noon. I'm Rafael Sanchez. IPS called today's decision by those school bus drivers unacceptable. The district met with the drivers' union leadership to discuss what happened and why. We're learning that the drivers' union encouraged those drivers to work, but 75 drivers apparently went rogue, setting transportation into a tailspin. Here are the numbers as we know them right now. 75 bus drivers made up of 40 IPS and 35 Durham employees did not show up for work. This as IPS plans to shift its transportation services to a different company very soon, possibly by the fall. IPS reports a majority of their drivers did show up to work, and that's about 90 people. This situation not only impacted the education of thousands of kids, it also means that many kids who depend on school meals may go hungry today because they have no transportation to their schools, which did remain open. Our team coverage now continues with the impact on the families scrambling to get their kids to school this morning. The school system sent a notification to those parents that school was in session, but the buses, they were not running. Our Alyssa Donovan has been following the story all morning long. Alyssa, a major impact for many of the families. Fill us in on what you're hearing this noon.
That's right, Rafael. And we talked to several families today, most of them expressing just the fact that they were frustrated. And I want to show you right now, we're at the East Side bus lot, and you can see these buses are parked right now, and that's how they have been all day. Instead of out transporting kids this morning to school, all of these buses were parked. Meanwhile, kids were waiting at their bus stops for a ride that wasn't coming. Parents were notified via phone calls and social media just after 6 this morning, and by that time, some of the kids were already at their bus stops. We ran into one woman outside of Crispus Attucks High School around 7:30. She was driving around the neighborhood and picking up students who were still waiting for their buses more than an hour after those buses should have come. Other parents couldn't get their kids to school at all. We talked with another mother who just had surgery on her foot, so she couldn't take her 6-year-old daughter to her first grade. So that was very frustrating for her. That woman says her daughter also requires specialized education, and she says that getting on the bus is one of those few things that makes her daughter feel like all of the other kids. So she was extremely frustrated with the situation today, and she says that she is well within her rights to file a complaint because her daughter does have an IEP, or an individualized education plan, which stipulates the district must provide that transportation. Now, the parents that we did talk to today really had a similar message, all of them saying the same thing, that whatever is going on between the district and their bus drivers, they just need to keep the kids and these children's education out of it. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, we first got word of this problem this morning at 6 a.m. during Good Morning Indiana. As you spoke to all these parents today and family members, did you get a sense for what they plan to do next? Because as we know, the district has a high poverty level, and many school children depend on school to have not only breakfast but lunch, and also to get weekend meals.
That's right, and I did speak with one mother who said exactly that. She said not only is her daughter a special needs child who requires that interaction with other children and actually enjoys the bus, but she also brought up those lower income families that do require that bus to get their kids just to school, just for food. So she is concerned for them, and of course that district is expected to address that right now at that press conference, so I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Alyssa Donovan live. We'll have more from you tonight on the news at 5 and 6. Our breaking news coverage now continues. Let's take you now live to IPS headquarters as the superintendent is now addressing this issue live on RTV6.
Reprehensible. We know that change is hard, and we have dedicated time, energy, and resources to ensure our employees are cared for. Academic instruction is being delayed, field trips have been canceled, and school performances are being rescheduled. These drivers should not put their discontentment on the backs of our students and our working families. We, along with the AFSCME union leadership who represent these employees, are asking that all employees who have participated in today's incident consider the impact of their decision. We are working to resolve this situation as soon as possible so that we can return to normal transportation. As all of our IPS schools have remained open today, we are thankful for the drivers who have reported to work today. We appreciate your dedication and commitment to our students and their families, and we will continue to keep our families and staff updated throughout the day. Are there questions?
I'm going to run that number of how many.
Yes. As of this morning, there were 71 drivers who had reported calling off.
How many do you have?
Total, we have about 300, approximately.
What's the breakdown?
Of the 71 that were reported, about 40 of those were IPS drivers or attendants, so drivers and attendants. Yep, we provide bus service for 22,310 students each day. There are 305 routes that we run in the morning, 305 that we run in the afternoon. We are showing right now about 13,000 students who are at school today.
Breaking news coverage of IPS's inability to get students to school today after 75 or more bus drivers did not show up to work today. Moments ago, you just heard from the superintendent, Alicia Johnson, saying that, of course, she was very upset at this action, hoping that those drivers would reconsider what they've done. You can watch that live coverage of that event right now, ongoing on the IndyChannel.com, as well as our Facebook page here at RTV6. That, of course, is developing, but now we're also hearing from the union representing the bus drivers. The statement from the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees Council 962. They say that they met with IPS leadership this morning to address their concerns. The statement says, AFSCME understands that many employees are frustrated by recent decisions made by district leadership, and some employees may be acting independently based on these feelings. The union says many employees were disappointed by a lack of communication with their union by IPS leadership and let down by the vote of the board regarding contracting out transportation routes. However, two wrongs don't make a right. At this point, it is difficult to assess how much, if any, of this could be determined to be inappropriate use of earned leave time. Well, of course, we'll have much more on this developing story tonight, beginning at 5 and 6, and always on the RTV6 app. Now at noon, we have more breaking news when it comes to jobs in Indiana, as a company is closing after 60 years in business in our city. More than 300 Hoosiers will be laid off when Kaito Foods closes their fresh cut manufacturing operation. The company filed a WARN notice filed with the Indiana Department of Workforce Development today. Kaito says the layoffs of 333 employees will begin sometime by the end of April. The company did not list a reason for that closure. They also say those employees will not be offered jobs at another facility. New this midday, we can now tell you that the victim of a shooting on the city's north side was an employee of that gas station where it happened. The person was shot at the Marathon station at the corner of 30th and College Avenue just before 11 last night. Officers say the man was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released more information at this time, but say homicide detectives are investigating this crime. The latest now in the novel coronavirus emergency. Overnight, more than 600 new cases were reported, bringing the worldwide total to more than 83,000 cases. The ripple effects are being felt throughout the U.S. economy. Stocks falling again this morning, though they have made up some of those losses. Wall Street and markets worldwide are on the edge after a California woman became the first to test positive for the virus, even though she had no known contact with anyone who had been infected. Vice President Mike Pence is now in charge of the information that flows from the federal government to the public. We, of course, have much more on the outbreak and how state and local officials are responding on the IndyChannel.com. It's now happened twice. Next on the news at noon, state lawmakers pushing back against the city of Indianapolis. We'll show you what they're fighting about next in our Statehouse roundup. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Hey, Todd.
Raphael, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everybody at home. We're dealing with some snow showers making their way through parts of central Indiana here this afternoon. While we're talking about snow and cold temperatures today, we do feature a warm-up for the weekend. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
Tonight at 9/8 Central on ABC.
It's rare that we get a live look inside the General Assembly during Statehouse Roundup, but given this week's activities, we are going into the ring. On the right of your screen, the Democratic supermajority of the City County Council of Indianapolis. On the left, landing the punch, the Republican supermajority of the legislature. First, the city passed regulations giving those who rent their homes or apartments in Indianapolis more rights when it came to dealing with shady landlords. Republicans in the General Assembly came back with an amendment to an unrelated bill that bars all local governments from regulating certain interactions between landlords and tenants. It came after lobbying from the Indiana Apartment Association, which represents landlords. Then, the city was moving forward with planning for 2 new Indigo rapid transit routes, the Blue Line and the Purple Line, to join the Red Line. But this week, state lawmakers approved another amendment that requires 10% of funding for public transit to come from a source other than taxes or fares. Republicans say that's already the law, and Indy wasn't following it. Democrats don't buy that.
The legislation was pretty clear when it was done back in 2015, I believe it was, that they had to use 10% private money, and they simply did not do it.
Violent crime is up. People are getting killed. And we're over here trying to provide transit for people to go to work. And we got people who want to stop it.
Also this week, a measure that appears to be aimed directly at panhandling in the heart of downtown Indianapolis. Lawmakers approved an amendment to a crime bill that would ban panhandling within 50 feet of any public monument or anywhere a financial transaction takes place. Right now, that distance is 20 feet. It means panhandling could essentially be off limits near Monument Circle, parking garages, and parking meters, as well as banks and ATMs. The ACLU of Indiana blasted the measure, calling it an unconstitutional attack on free speech. That means if this passes the General Assembly, a lawsuit will likely follow. Working for you with Statehouse Roundup, Ray Steele, RTV6.
Ray, thank you so much. It's hard to believe, but it's almost time for the passing of the torch, or rather, the changing of the color. Butler University about to get a new mascot, but we'll get a visit first from the outgoing Bulldog coming up right here on the news at noon.
The month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Welcome back to the news at noon. A live look, of course, from our Weather Now camera. Westview, look at those clouds. Our Todd Clausen is tracking some snow. I almost said good morning, Indiana, because, of course, we've been up since 3 in the morning, but it's noon. It's all good, but the snow is moving in.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have some snow showers, or some of the more intense snow showers we call snow squalls. And the main thing you have to watch out for with these as they make their way through the area is going to be reduced visibility, especially if you're on the highways traveling at a higher rate of speed. You come across the reduced visibility very, very quickly. And so it changes across the miles. So just be a little careful here this afternoon as far as any accumulation. We're not really going to pick up a whole lot. Maybe some of these snow showers will produce a coating to a ½ an inch of snow, and that is just about it. And they're on a spotty basis. Not everybody is going to see these snow showers as they move through. Here's one which isn't all that intense in the Greencastle area, but it will cross over Interstate 70. And as we expand out, it's really these darker shades of bluish gray that you see here that are a little more intense. And these are all going to be tracking in a southeasterly direction. So as we go throughout the afternoon, it's really from Crawfordsville to Indianapolis southward that I think you have to worry about some of these snow showers as they make their way through the area. And TrueCast kind of paints that picture. And it's only about a 2-hour time frame, I would say, from 3 to 5 o'clock that these snow showers move through. And then after that, we are in good shape with quiet conditions across the area. What's not good, though, is the temperature is way below normal for this time of year. We normally should be getting up to about 45 degrees this time of year. We're at 29 in Indianapolis right now, 30 in Martinsville, 27 in Muncie, and these temperatures aren't really going up much more throughout the remainder of the day. Only about 30 degrees in Indy, 27 in Peru, slightly above freezing as you make your way down into the Bloomington area. So if you have plans this Friday evening, you don't have to really worry about any snow. That'll be over. You just need to bundle up as temperatures fall back down into the mid-20s. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's cold, but this is the last real cold morning that we have for our foreseeable future. 13 tomorrow morning in Peru, 18 in Indianapolis, even Bloomington getting down into the teens. And then throughout the remainder of the day tomorrow, we'll warm up to 39 degrees, still slightly below normal, but with plenty of sunshine. It won't feel all that bad out there. And then look at this. On Sunday, we take a big jump forward with our high temperature getting up to 58 degrees with increasing clouds on Sunday. I think the showers will probably hold off until late Sunday. It's more of an issue for Monday that the rain returns to the forecast. So start making those weekend plans now. Just maybe give yourself a little bit of time on Saturday morning to let things warm up into the 30s. And then temperatures stay mild next week as those rain showers move in. Raphael will be in the 50s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Hey, Todd, thank you so much. It is the noon hour, so as you can see, my friend here is really hungry. It's hard to believe that we're winding down one last trip for this adorable mascot who is uber hungry. The mascot for the Butler Bulldogs, Trip, will soon pass the collar to the next dog in line, Blue. Trip is back with us today as we talk about the big night tomorrow night at Hinkle Fieldhouse. It's also great to see his handler, Michael Coltonmark, and the new mascot handler, Evan Krause. Gentlemen, hello. Hey, my friend, how are you? I'm all about a good chicken bone, but it looks bigger than a chicken bone.
Tell me about, chicken.
Yeah, tell me about this transition that's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, so just before tip-off at tomorrow night's Butler men's basketball game, we're going to do a little changing of the collar ceremony. We brought the collar here today to show off, courtesy of Reese Nichols, very fancy. And we'll just be taking that, our president, James Danko, will be taking that collar off of Trip here and placing it around Blue to sort of signify the transition of power between our two dogs.
And what does it mean for you? Because this becomes really, you're a team.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Right, and the new team now takes over.
Yes.
A great institution in Butler. So what do you tell him about how he needs to obviously act around the throngs of fans around the country?
I mean, Evan and Blue, I feel like they're already pros. Evan's been following Trip and I around for a number of years now, and so at this point, it's just be yourself and do your best, and they've got it. And so it's going to be neat for me to take a step back and support these guys going on in the future. We're just really set up for success and in a good spot.
Evan, for you, what does it mean to carry on the tradition of representing, obviously, a great institution, but then also being the face of athletics through the mascot?
Absolutely, it truly is my dream job, and I owe so much to Michael and Trip. Like he said, I've been with Trip since my sophomore year at Butler. So for 7 years now, I've been working with Michael and underneath him and learning all it takes, and really the responsibility and how much of an honor it is. It's a dream come true.
So what happens to Trip next? Does he go to?
Well, we don't put him out to pasture or anything. He's gonna stay with my family and me and become our family dog.
Good. Okay.
I don't know that he knows that retirement's coming.
We won't tell him.
I think he might just go into a big depression if he knew. But he's still not going to be a stranger to campus either. He loves the work and the activity, so we need to keep that as part of his life, but less than it is now. And so we'll balance that for him. But yeah, we're just excited to have him be our family pet.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for obviously sharing with us what is a great Butler tradition. Yes. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
And sir, thank you so much.
A lot of slobber on that one, Raphael.
Hey, and listen,
apologies.
Can we get him some real food? Hey, bud, we're gonna feed you. We're gonna feed you. The news at noon continues right after this. We need some food out here.
850 5054.
Snow showers will make their way through the area during the course of the afternoon and early evening hours, mainly on a line from Crawfordsville to Indianapolis and points to the south. So kind of use I-74 as your dividing line. Some of these snow showers could reduce visibility quickly on the roadways. Be aware of that as far as accumulation. Coating, and that is just about it. Cold tomorrow morning, but then up to 39. Warmer on Sunday, Raphael, 58.
Well, finally, I get to use that snowblower, Todd. Hey, about time. Thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Have a great afternoon. Mark and Amanda tonight on the news at 5. Have a great weekend.